This way. We are live. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning.
This is a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. How is it in Canada?
It's actually very nice this week. I can actually give you the same temperatures because you're also in Celsius. Whereas with the US people, I always have to convert and tell them what it is in Fahrenheit. But here it's about 20 Celsius.
20.
So it's going to be like that all week, and we'll see what happens the week after.
Sunny?
Definitely blue sky. So I'll say yes to that.
How is actually the weather in Canada?
Overall,
I've heard that you've got even tornadoes and good stuff like that.
No, we don't get any tornadoes. I think all the tornadoes hit Oklahoma, that area.
Okay.
We don't get any huge storms like they do in New Orleans or Florida. The last big blackout we had was, I think, in 1977. So we don't get many bad storms. But that's not to say we don't get a lot of snow. We certainly get a lot of snow, but like it is in Arizona when it's really hot, you don't go stand outside and just stay outside for hours. When it's snowing and it's really cold, you may go out and play in it with your kids for a while, or you may just come in and stay inside to where it's warm and you have a furnace. So there's no igloos up here. Let's put it that way. There's no igloos, and I've never seen a moose live up front, live anywhere.
Really?
So yeah, I haven't seen any. Unless I go to the zoo, I haven't seen the closest thing I've seen is I saw a fox, and a bunch of squirrels and a rabbit. That's about it.
Oh, we've got lots of foxes.
Yeah, no, we have, I think, a family of a couple of them in our area, but you just keep the small dogs inside and away from the foxes or fenced in. But that's it. No buffaloes, no giant animals that they think are up in Canada. Some of those stereotypes are a little much.
Adam, it is very nice to have you back. I'm already used to your voice and having used.
I'm glad you are. My wife isn't used to it yet, but I'm glad you are. So that's good.
Any suggestions from the side of your wife?
No, she just tends to listen to what she wants to listen to. And when she doesn't want to hear something, she pretends she can't hear me. So it's all good.
Okay. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending from the world on our beautiful globe where you are. You are most welcome to leave your comments saying hello, good morning, good afternoon, and you can also comment from the business pages you have. So if you are a domainer, you can switch over to your page either on Facebook or YouTube and comment it from it and maybe get additional exposure. So AC Company right there, acquire. And welcome. So today we are having conversation in our live stream will be in 3 parts. The first part will be about the main tools of Adam.dicker. Adam, is this the first time you'll be talking about them?
Probably in this depth and with this update. I'm actually not going to go all that deep. I'm going to go deep enough for people to understand what they are and how I use them. I actually don't use a ton of tools. I just use the right ones that I need for me. And I think that some of the stuff that we're going to talk about and how I search for domains is very different than how other people search for domain names. So I hope that helps. But still, always, the biggest tool you have is your brain. And without that and without common sense, none of these other ways of finding domains will make it easy for you.
That was a really good note. I don't use many tools, but I use the ones I need or the ones that do that work or do stuff like that. And the second part will be a portfolio review sent in by Petru, a Romanian guy, I understand, from .us name pros member. And the third one will be your Adam will answer live Q&As, questions and answers if there are any. Okay, Adam.
I got a little nervous when you said there's 3 parts because I only know we talked about 2, but then it was a Q&A, so I'm like, okay, good. That's okay. I'm prepared for that, so it's fine. Yeah, and then I've already got an interesting topic for the next show, which I think you're going to like. I'll save that till the end.
Okay. And I have actually a proposition for you as well.
Okay. Well, it's going to be interesting. Okay, so thanks to our host. Nice picture, by the way, on our last guest. Some of the names are harder for me to pronounce, but I'll get to learn them as I learn.
Igers, by the way, is a master baker. He's one of the rare judges of bakers. He's got a diploma of judge, and his bread, his recipes are baked all around the world. US, Denmark, Japan, Europe, many countries, and from each loaf of bread, he gets royalties.
Wow, that's not really fair because it's 10:05 a.m. here and I haven't had breakfast. So now I'm picturing all these delicious baked goods. But anyway, okay, so 3 parts.
Okay.
We're ready to go. He also said he's from Romania. I haven't mentioned this yet, but my dad was born in Romania, in actually Transylvania. So I don't like blood or anything like that, but he was born in Romania. So there you go. There's a little commonality in this show today. Okay, so we're going to start with some tools, I guess. There's a couple portfolio management tools I'm going to show you first because we did talk about that before.
I'll be writing down, yes.
Sure, no problem. And I'm going to show you some simple tools to either find domains or to manage your existing portfolio. So I'll start with that now. I'm going to share my screen. Gives me this warning. Yes, I want to share it. Pick the screen. Off we go. So the first tool, there you are. You don't need to see you. The first tool is called Watch My Domains. It's the same as Domain Punch, except what you can do is you first of all, it comes from Softnik, but you can type in Watch My Domains ISP and you'll find it. You don't have to get this version. This is a very expensive version. I think it's like a couple $100, but they have smaller ones for like $30-$40. This is for like portfolios of plus 10,000 or 20,000 users.
My apologies. Could you make this that window a bit narrower, plees?
Yeah, of course. I should know from this all the time. So
thank you.
I will do that gladly. Well, now we're losing columns, but
no, it will come up.
Okay.
We'll leave.
Let me go back to sharing the window then.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes. Okay.
If I share the window, you'll see it a lot better. So we won't do the screen. We'll do the window. Application window. There you go. Okay. So now it should be better.
Oh, much better. Yes.
Okay. So this is, again, a tool where you go in. If you have a domain portfolio, you click add your domains. You don't need to click any of the TLDs or CC TLDs that are here. You just add your domains. You click OK. I made up a bunch of names and I put them in here. And then you hit search, and it will. So you go back to lookups, and you can do who is all, or you can look up their DNS. Those are the only 2 that I use. And then it tells you information on those domains, like where do the IPs point, where are the name servers. So it can tell you that those 2 are with Frank Schilling's, well, his old platform, Unregistered, and it tells you where they all are. This one's on HostGator. This one's being sold probably on Afternic. And it gives you the IPs. Now, obviously, if you're using your own portfolio, you want to take a look. And you take a look at this one here. This has an issue. It's got an arrow, which means it's expiring soon. So you can pull down these menus, and you can see which one of these is about to expire. And it'll show you that one in your portfolio is about to expire. So you'd want to obviously decide to renew it or keep it or whatever, or get rid of it, whatever you want. It'll also tell you domains that are past expiry date. If you've got a bunch of them in there, it'll tell you what you've registered in the last month. It'll tell you if you have domains in your portfolio that are unregistered, domains that you dropped and you forgot to renew. And then you can sort them however you want. You can do pending delete. You can do parking. You can sort them up here. If you want to sort your domains, say, assign these to the parking category, you can do that as well, and make sure they go to where you want to put them. So it's a really easy tool to use. It's a good tool. It's simple. It allows you to keep track of all of your domains and manage them all in one place. A lot of times we end up with domains from different registrars, and sometimes we forget about them. Whereas with this, if I go to different views, it'll tell me things like, here is the domain contact for them, and you can also sync up your domain contacts.
Oh, very nice.
You can look at registrar information, and it'll tell you who the registrar is. So if I have all my names with Enum, and these ones are ones I picked up in drops, and now I know which ones I need to move back to Enum or wherever. We also know that the one that's expiring is an Epic. So if anybody wants to take a look at AAB after this, it's expiring. This is live. I did this morning, so it's not like completely made up. So if you want to look at domain dates, you can look at the registration date, the expiry date, what day it was created on. So this one was created on AAB, was created in 1999. So that one's obviously been around for a while, 20 plus years. Who knows if they're going to drop it or not? In today's climate, a lot more domains are dropping because understandably people need food and pay their rent, or their business isn't doing well. And unfortunately, that's sad for the whole economy and everything else. But obviously, you can add 1,000 domains in here, and it'll be much easier to track your domains. I've only added 16. And then we can go. So we've got domain dates. We've got the registrar info, domain contacts to make sure that you have them all under the same email address. Lord knows I had some under different email addresses, and I sort them. I still have some that I can't move for 60 days when I pick them up off a drop. So I keep those in here too, and keep an eye on when they're ready for me to move to the same registrar so I don't lose them. The domain log, this just tells you different things about where they are, different name servers and stuff. I don't use that one. The NS data I do use a lot because I want to make sure that they're all pointing to if I'm using Sado, or if I'm using Uniregistry, or whatever I'm using, if I'm using GoDaddy parking, I want to make sure that they're all parked the same. Sometimes I notice when I buy domains, I'm so anxious to get the domain in that sometimes I forget about changing it to the right parking platform, or the right sales platform. So you want to make sure that you go through and you check all this, and there's lots of good stuff you can look at here. And that's really all I really look at, is those 4 columns. And then I check to see if anything is expiring, because I get tired of all the emails from the domain registrars, and I want to be able to sort it myself and not have to look through 10, 20, 50, 100 emails.
Adam, one second. I'll put up your screen. So for those who are watching, we are having like 10 to 15 people watching all across our platforms at the moment live. If you have a question about a certain tool Adam is showing, ask your question and I'll put it up on the screen, and Adam will go in deeper. Adam, who is the developer of Watch My Domains?
So this is a company called, no, it's not me. I have all the tools I'm going to show you today, I have 0 ownership in. I just actually use the tools because they make it convenient and easy for me. But I have no affiliate links, no referral links, nothing here that I'm going to profit on by showing you these tools.
Okay, and who was the developer of Watch My Domains?
Softnik, Softnik. I believe they're also European, but I'm not sure from where.
And the price?
This one we could switch windows and I can check, but
okay. Let me lower. Let me lower. I have lowered your window.
Okay, I'm gonna shut this tool down anyway and come back.
Yes.
So now I'm gonna come back to our window. I will go to Softnik now and tell you. And there's different versions, and I can tell you which one the average domainer needs, because you don't need all the.
This seems to be a really interesting tool as well. We sometimes follow other domainers, and then we could put in their domains to see how they are doing.
Yeah, and they offer, the other thing that's important is they offer a 30-day trial. So the tool you want to get is called Domain Punch, and it's Watch My Domains. So if you go to domainpunch.com, you'll see it there. Don't buy the ISP version, and this one is only $49, and it does all the stuff that I just showed you.
Okay, so we go to domainpunch.com.
Here, I can go back and share my screen.
Thank you.
So you can see exactly where it is. I don't want them to guess.
Okay. Here we have
this time I'm going to go back to the application window, share my screen, and we're back here. So this is their page, domainpunch.com, and then you can see.
Narrower, please. Thank you.
Of course, I have to remember to do that for you all the time. I did the whole screen, so it's not going to be narrower, but.
It was good.
So let's go back.
Yes.
So there you go, domainpunch.com, and then you want to buy from FastSpring or PayPal, it doesn't matter, it's still $49. That tool will allow you to manage thousands of domain names. The only difference between the one that I use is it's more database driven and can handle portfolios of over 10, 20,000 domain names, no problem. So
$49, is that a one-time fee or or monthly?
One-time fee, that's it. $49, and you're in control of your own portfolio.
You can't go wrong with that.
No, and I think I bought this when they first came out with it years and years ago. And actually, the next tool I'm going to show you is also from them. So it's a different tool, but another tool that is quite good.
Okay.
I can switch to that if you want.
Yes, please.
Let me stop sharing.
Okay.
I'll come back to you.
And if you have questions, of course.
Oh yeah, feel free. Now I'm going to shorten this window to make it nice and tiny for you. And then we're going to look at another tool. And like Helmut said, make sure you do ask your questions.
Absolutely.
There's no point in going through this and having questions and walking away.
It is okay to ask a question, and the world might think that you are silly or what. Oh, you didn't know this or that. We all have got those gaps.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly okay. So the next tool I'm sharing, this is called Domain Name Analyzer Pro. This is a really good tool for allowing you to take domain names. Also, you'll notice it has the same columns here on the side where it shows you about to expire, past expiry. I haven't run these yet because it's so quick. I wanted to show it to you. Okay. What I do with this one is I go to import from keywords, and then you can have 3 different columns of keywords. I put the cities here for this example. I put some occupations here, and then you could have like Orlando, and here you could have corporate. You could have any type of lawyer you want, corporate, civil, immigration, whatever you want, and then have a lawyer and attorney here, and it would make it up with 3 words. I'm only, for this example, using 2, so when I hit OK, it takes every combination of this and does Boston plumber, Boston electrician, Boston baker, Boston restaurant, and so on, and then does Cleveland with all of them, and makes a list for you. So it's done that. It's got a bunch of handy names in here, and now I can just go ahead and hit check all, and it's going to check very quickly to see what's available, what's not available, and it's going to let me know very quickly. And you can see that I put some .nets in here just so you'd see what it looked like to have some available in case all the comms were gone. And you can see very quickly if we sort alphabetically or by, let me do it by lookup since we're on lookup, last update. And you can see how many it's looked up, and you can see what is taken and what's, and then if you scroll down to stuff that's been registered recently, there's nothing. If you want to check unregistered domain names, it shows you what's unregistered here. So even clevelandgroomer.com is available, Dallas Groomer, Detroit Groomer. These are things that are easily, purchased and then probably easily sellable for at least under $1,000. And if you're going to register it for $10 and get even $500 for it today, seems like a good deal to me. Absolutely. And it's constantly updating, so you'll see it's going to constantly run through them all and check them all, and then you can go back. It'll take its time. There's 240 domains in the list. There's 100 domains down here in the queue, and it does about 8 at a time checking, so it's very quick. Also, you can change your view if you want registrar information. You can do that. It's got some old stuff in here from when Bido existed. Doesn't exist anymore as far as I know. And here's the one that I use, domain status. And then you can obviously split this up, take a look what's there, see what's available, and then make your decision. You can also sort the columns by what's available, and it'll show you those are all not available, and you just scroll down to the section that is available, and you'll see what's available there, or you can go over to the next tab like we did before. Again, it'll also show you IPs to see if there's similarity. So somebody has all of these. They're all in the same IP.
Yes. Okay.
So it's a pretty cool tool. I think it's useful. I use it to find a lot of new trends and new things like that. So if I'm looking for specific things, it makes it easy for me to find domains. Yes. And again, it's got your registrar info as well. It'll tell you who the registrar is. Once it knows, it'll do that afterwards. It'll give you all the relevant dates, when it's due, when it's expiring. All I have to do is sort it properly.
What was the last thing you were searching on it? Could you show us a real case scenario?
The last thing that I was searching on it? Yeah. Well, for me, I can definitely show you a real case scenario. So I would do something like, so let's start new.
Okay.
Or let's open an existing one so you know. 2letter .is. Let's do your favorite. So this will tell me all of the ones that are taken. It'll tell me what's dropping soon. I haven't run it since August. You can see that. But it does tell me, and I'm going to show you a faster way to find some of these in the next tool. but it'll show me what's expiring, what's past expiry, what's been renewed. And then you can run these every 48 hours. So if I want to rerun, let's say, the whole thing, I can, or I just want to run selected, I can do that, and it'll go look up these ones right now, and see it changed the date to November 8th. It'll give me updated status on those, and it'll tell me, obviously I have to go to the right view to make sure I'm looking at what I want to see, which is probably domain status. And I can see that these ones are updated. Well, it'll be updated shortly, and it'll tell me the new IP and stuff. And if there are some, if I want to rerun the whole list and it wants to go into unregistered or available soon, it'll tell me about to expire. So those are about to expire based on when I did it.
Okay.
And then I just obviously keep my eye on those, or I go and I back order those, whatever I choose to do at that point. So there's lots of different things. So how do you create this list? All you do is you go into this. I replace it with A, B, C. You get the idea in both columns.
Okay. Yes.
A, B, C.
And
then I select only we'll just do BE for argument's sake. I've only done a few.
Yes.
So it's going to add those in now to the list. I should have done a new one. I can do a new one quickly. I might as well do it right now. New, we'll call it Helmuts list 2. Done. It keeps the keywords, so you don't have to redo them again. I can keep it as BE. It'll add them, and now all I have to do is hit, well, I'm going to, do I have any running? No. So I'm just going to either select them or hit search all, and then off they go. Where is it? TNS selected, and it's going to go check them all. And it'll tell me, again, where they are, what's dropping. A couple of them don't have, oh, it also puts the singular ones in. It's just something that the tool does. I just delete those and ignore them.
Yes.
This one too. And then I can just look at their dates. I can take a look at whatever dates that I want. I can look at anything that's coming past expiry, anything about to expire, anything newly expired, and I can go through them all like that. And it's much easier to sort through things like this as well. What's interesting is this one doesn't even resolve to a website. So you can see that's probably maybe a parking page. I don't know. Sorry, I'll be quiet and let you talk.
No problem. I actually run, the comment prompt. I have a piece of software written, and I run it via comment prompt to look up two-letter domain names. So
yeah, this is a lot easier, and it gives you a lot more information. There's no sense. I've had all kinds of tools that I use that are personal. This one will, some of them will even give you the search results, the Google links. They'll give you Alexa. I mean, there's a lot more information it can give. I just don't do all those things because some of those things don't matter to me when I'm buying domains. So now I'm coming back to you.
And the price?
Let me look. I think it's about $30, but let me look. Domain name analyzer pro.
And again, by Softnik, yes.
Yeah, I'll take you right to the page. I'm just checking. $49 again.
Again, one-time payment?
Yeah. Let me go back. I'll share my screen again.
Wow.
And I mean, these are tools that if you're going to buy domains, every domainer should have. I mean, it's something simple. There you go. And there it is. And this one is Domain Punch. And again, $49. So 2 simple tools. You don't have to buy them. You can buy them. It's up to you. I'm just showing you what makes my life.
Domain Punch, when you see it, tweet to Adam. Thumbs up. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you get anything valuable, hopefully you've already got something valuable in this video, put a thumbs up on the video. And then tell all your friends to use HostMaria.
Absolutely.
So those are the first 2 tools that I wanted to show you. They were portfolio management.
Okay.
Do you want to go to the third one now?
Shall I put up your screen?
Okay, let me stop my sharing.
Okay.
Okay, let me go back and I'll go to a different one. So this tool here.
Number 3, yes.
This is called Expireddomains.net. Very interesting tool, has a lot of info, so I can't really keep it too narrow. But what I can do is show you that I go here, you sign up, you get a free account, and then you can sort your domain names. So if you want to look for filters, first of all, let's start at the beginning. You can go up here to deleted domain names, and then it'll just give you all of the domains that are deleting. And then you can add your own filters. Now, I've taken off a lot of the filters in this one that I use. And I think I've just put a couple on here. You can put English words if you want. You can put a word count if you only want domains with 1 to 3 English words. You can add that. You can pick if they're deleted in the next 24, 48, 72 hours. And I don't like domains with hyphens or numbers, so I take those out. Again, personal preference. You do whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you how to look for domain names for yourself. And then it filters them out. The list gets a lot smaller. And then if you want to filter it even more, what I like to do is I like to go to additional.
Okay.
And then I like to cut down on my TLDs. So for this example, I'm just going to use .com. But I obviously you can use any CCTLD if you just want to look at what's dropping in certain CCTLDs. I'm sure you will find that very helpful. So now we filter it. Well, obviously didn't work yet, or it's thinking. Still thinking. It thinks it's done, but it's not. I must have done something wrong. Let me check my filter again. English, no domains, additional.
Okay.
It's .com. Usually it works perfectly. So I'm just going to go over to pending delete for this example, just so I can show you some stuff. There you go. Yes. And now there's still filtering, but it's not, it normally filters fine. I don't know why I'm having trouble, I guess, because it's a live demo. But a lot of the stuff that I look for on this column is not what most domainers look for. So one of the things I'm going to sort by is I'm going to sort by CPC, but this is only important if you're thinking about developing a site for yourself. And then you can see there's different insurance things and different other things here and different TLDs. I don't know why it's not filtering properly.
I do have to agree. I never look for CPC as well. I never filter domains by CPC.
Now, if I'm building an AdSense site, or if I'm doing something like that, then it has value if I'm ever going to keep it and use it. But if I'm not going to post ads on it, there's not much value in CPC. Because it doesn't matter to somebody you're going to sell a domain to either. All that really matters is things like, more importantly, is how long ago was the domain purchased? How long ago? How badly does a company let it drop? I don't think 1970 is accurate either, but let's go with some of these. You can see that a lot of domains, am I in the pending delete list? I'm going to clear a lot of these filters and reset them again so that they make sense. So we have pending delete. Let's look for, let's do a filter now and let's see if it's going to do something for me. Well, let's knock it down to at least 1 to 3 words. We'll leave English there. Let's see if it filters it better. Okay, that's better. And then you start to see as things go on, these ones are added November the 5th. So these are new ones that just came up here. And you could look at things like that make sense. Like, is this a business that somebody didn't renew? And is it the environment where people are not going to renew certain names? Like if you see restaurant names drop or certain businesses that you know probably aren't going to survive the pandemic, obviously it's not smart to pick up those names. Tide close. I mean, you have to be careful because Tide is a trademark and it obviously relates to clothes. So I wouldn't think about getting that one. The other thing that I like about this tool is you can sort and just look for certain domains that drop by certain registrars if you want to. So if you're always following somebody like GoDaddy or something or Dropcatch or any one of them, you can see what they've dropped. Again, I'm going to try to filter this out a little bit better so we only have what we actually want here and not all of these. Let's do, to make it simpler, we'll do contains.com and apply that. The tool normally works very well for me, and I do use it. That didn't work either, so it must be having some issues today, but it does work. And I'll just go over the columns that I tend to look at and what they actually mean to me. So I'm just going to try one more filter thing here, and then that's about it. And then we'll just go with what we have. So we'll go with com, and we'll see what that does. And then we'll just move on to the columns, and I'll explain what each column. Oh, that time it worked. There you go. All right, so here are the columns. So the first column tells you the number of characters in the domain name. So if you're looking for smaller domain names, you can sort by that column, and it'll give you the smaller ones. Now, for me, like I said, I don't like to see numbers. So if I take out numbers and dashes from that, then it just shows me small domains with letters. And that worked perfectly. So now I can see that these ones are there. But what's even better is these are deleting names. On some of the other lists, it shows me that some of these are actually available now. And I'll show you how to get to that afterwards. So that's to sort for small. This one, again, shows you majestic links, which I don't care about. SEO kicks I don't care about. Wayback machine, I definitely care that this domain was born in 2002 or 2005.
Okay.
ABY
First appeared online, yes.
ABY is when it started to get found on archive.org. So when it was important enough to get picked up from there. So you can see that this domain had some of them have some good history on them. ACR, archive.org, the number of crawl results. So it tells you how many times somebody has changed the page and that they've been very active on it. So I'm sorting that now, and it'll tell me that some of these things have been changed a lot of times. Like adult movie series has been changed 2,400 times. If I was into adult domain names, which I'm not, maybe that would be a decent one for some decent development value. Whereas I would probably skip hot blowjob porn. But there's always something interesting in domain names, and that's why I love it. Alexa rank, I don't care about. Majestic Millions, I don't care about. DMOZ, I really don't care about. Number of TLDs that the domain is registered in. Now, this is important too.
Okay.
There's a lot of ways to find certain things. So this one has 98 of them that make sense. This doesn't make any sense to me, but WebSurf with 66 looks like a decent domain name. But the question is, what am I going to do with it? Who am I going to sell it to? And then you have to start thinking like that. So it looks okay. Am I going to sell it to somebody who does anonymous browsing? Maybe that's good. A proxy browser. Bet bonus is for obviously a casino. There's all kinds of different things that you have to start to think about as you look at it. But for you have to, for people, you have to think about, is there a business that would want this as their primary business name that I could sell it to? Like, I doubt I'm going to sell Itchies unless it's to some rash company who's selling powder or something. So some of them don't make any sense. And that's where the brain has to come in. Carpet recycling. And again, scroll over and look at these CPUs, the cost per click while you're going through it. Bet bonus has a good cost per click. So maybe you could sell that to a casino. Let's move on. The date it was added. So these are the dates that they are going to be released or have been released. Okay. This WPL, number of links from Wikipedia, don't care. SEM rush ratings, don't care. You can even block these columns. I kept them up here so you guys could see the US monthly search volume. Okay, now that's a good one. So this is how many times the domain is actually searched for as it is. And this is a typo of Craigslist, spend test. I mean, you can see if any of them make sense to you. Auto Part Advance, Rate Farm, maybe good. Chicago Beard. There's not anything that really, Urgent Cared is a typo. It's probably Urgent Care, but maybe it's a good name for a business. Typo of Dish Network. Don't buy typos unless it's a different product. Charlie's Angel. Apparently they just have one now. Okay. Doctor for Eyes. Some of these don't make sense, but there are ways, and we'll go through how to find some that do make sense. The next column, how much AdWords competition? Again, this is interesting if you're actually going to be doing something and you want ads, and you can see all these have revenue because they're AdWords competition. Comparison printer, if you want to do a site listing printers and have an affiliate link to Walmart or Epson or whatever you want to do. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. Picture pendant. Lots of people carry pendants on their neck of people that passed away and something. Maybe that's good for an Amazon affiliate site. Metal bed platform. It's a product. I mean, you could search metal bed platform in Amazon and send it there. At least people know what they're looking for. So there's certain things that you can do. It'll be a lot easier probably next week when we actually break down a specific list instead of trying to look through 323,000 names right now. Curving glass, maybe something. Motorcycle, women's Chelsea boots. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm not into boots. Painting for pets. Teach your pet how to paint. Sounds interesting. And then again, you can see the registrar that they're at. So it gives you an idea. If it's at GoDaddy, you probably want to get it in GoDaddy auctions. Or it tells you roughly where you may want to back order it. Whoever's taking care of Namecheap, who takes care of their back orders, you want to back order it there. This is number of TLDs for the domains in the registered max 32. So this is the maximum of 32 that they call the main domain names. You can look at that chart later and see what it is. Again, WebSurf comes up. When you start to see things like WebSurf and Bet Bonus and EP services, which I noticed at Grand Capital start to come up in similar ones, if you find a good reason for it, you can start to spend $8 or $10 and see. We'll see what it is. I'm going to show you also some that are available. The next column is about where'd we go? RDS, which is number of related domain names. I don't care about that much. I think you get the idea. So now what I'm going to try to show you is a list with actual domains you can purchase right now. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to, I'm going to go to, where are the ones I want? Let's go back to the full page, and let's go to deleting domains, and let's look at CCTLDs. Let's take your IS, since you seem to love
Iceland.
that a lot. So
Iceland.
I'm going to go to Iceland if I can remember my alphabet. Here we go. And then you can see, look at all these, deleting IS domains. And then you get a cute little list. Now, what's best about this list, I'm going to have to expand it, and you're going to hate me because it's going to get smaller, but
that's fine.
When I expand it over here, it tells me these are available. It tells me what's available to register today, and you can see somebody took this one, esse.is. Somebody had already taken it. There's a couple that they've picked up. These 3 expired yesterday. Okay, and then you can do the same thing and filter this list down. Get rid of the hyphens, get rid of the characters. If you only want to see 1 to 4, you can do that. If you want to see 1 to 4 character domain names, you can filter that out. And now you have 1 to 4 character domain names. You can see what's available. This last one was registered. I'll make it smaller for you, not bigger. So you can see that these, a lot of them, they've dropped, but there's a lot that's available. And you see sz.is. Let's see what that says. Registered. So you can see this is a good way, and you can still sort it by length if you want to. And you can see there's a 2, a 3, and so on.
Okay.
And it tells you how old they are. This one, it tells you how old. And again, you still have CPC, so rat.is seems to be a good one, but we don't care that much about that. What we're looking for now is, like the one that I sold that I showed you the paperwork for, I think it was, I don't even know, it was a .ag, dc.ag, I'm not sure. That sold from, I bought it for, actually it was $135 and sold it for 12,000 euros within a month. Oh. Some of these you'll be able to tell that, okay, maybe some people have put some work into these things and maybe they haven't renewed it or they forgot about it. So you're not trying to take advantage of them forgetting about it. You're trying to pick up good domain names. Any questions on this tool so far? I will stop and...
What would you say a person is starting with $100? He or she wants to buy 10 domains just to get started. Yeah. And using this tool, what would you suggest him or her to do?
So probably based on experience, depending on if you're specializing in a CCTLD or if you're just looking for COM or what you're looking for, what I would do is tend to buy the 10 domains or whatever it would cost for $100 of domains. I would tend to, you can't really even buy one that's back order because it could cost you $60 for the back order, and you could be taking a chance that it may not be good. Now, if you've got a budget of $200-300, you can get a couple of decent back ordered names, and then you can pick up some short ones like this that companies may be interested in coming back at you for, and then you build up that money really quick. But again, you have to take a look and see how long the domain's been registered. And then also you can check what you should do besides check. So if you find a domain that's been registered for 5 years or 10 years, the other thing you want to check is you want to go to the Wayback machine and you want to see exactly what it was used for and was it used by the same company for these 3 years. And you can do that just by going to any one of these links, clicking the latest one, which they have is 2018. It doesn't look like they've made any changes to this site in 2 years. So probably they forgot about it. But when you have consistent use and consistent changes by the same company, then you know it's going to show us an image of what it looked like. Hopefully it's not a porn site. No, it's nothing. And then up here, you can just switch to a year ago if you wanted and see what you wanted to do. But again, you can go back and look at any one of those domain names. That doesn't have to be an IS. It could be anything, and see what it is or what it was, and then see if it's been in use by the same company. Because if it's been in the use by the same, this one again, nothing in the last 3 years. If it shows they haven't made any changes in the last 3 years, this is not a good one to think about. It means they've had it, they've held it. It could be investment, could be a parking page, but chances are not good that they've actually done anything with it. So you have to find one that's got some consistent history and has a lot of good, like this one here shows 240. Let's see what we got on that one. This one, yeah, see, this one's consistent.
Oh, yes. Oh,
so
yes.
this would be a better one. So if you go look at this one, you look at August the 6th, 2020. Now, if you look at it's a parking page, then obviously it's not a great idea. It's clicking, it's going through. But if they've been using it for all this time and it's a company, probably somebody forgot about it. I have mentioned that I've sold the same hotel domain to the same company 3 times. It was okay, so this is what this is. So now you have to figure it by, you can use Google Translate to figure out what it is. It looks like it's something to do with Liverpool, obviously. Could be about the soccer team, could be about the city. I don't know. And then, it's definitely about the soccer team. The picture came in. Okay. So you can go in and take a look and you can see how it's come along in the last 5 years. This isn't a business. It looks like it's an information site. So although it has consistent traffic, it may not be something that you'd want to buy because it's not really a business as far as I can tell. It's talking about their victory against Milan and stuff. So that's how you want to look. You want to look, spend your time carefully. I do this now with any domain that I'm buying. I don't just jump out and buy domains because I think they look good. You have to have a thought pattern behind it.
What's your primary goal or aim using this tool, Expired Domains?
So for me, I'm trying to find valuable domain names to me that I think that somebody would want to purchase off me or would want to build a business off of. For me, it's always, is it possible that somebody would want to buy a business off it, or is it a nice, short, recognizable domain that people would like for their business to make it simple and easy to be found? When I tell people my short email is adam.xy.ca, they go, is that it? I'm like, well, I could shorten it to a@xy.ca if you want. We can do anything you want. So for that and for brandability, for anything, you also want to make sure they can pass the radio test, which means, is it pronounceable? Even though most of our advertising now is online, there's hardly any radio, but something like RNU, people can understand. WSIHSB, B can be confused with P or V or T or whatever, but generally these are all decent names anyway. Or is it pronounceable? Like WEG, WEG.is, WEG. I mean, it's brandable. It's a short MBR, could be anything. There's lots of different things. And as you can see, you can go look at any TLD or anything that you want. I mean, we're going to go to Singapore right now. Half of these that I've been registering buying, I have to look up sometimes. Even though I know 98% of them, I have to look up which ones are which. And then you can look and you can see some Singapore ones are available, even the 2-letter ones. And when that happens, you don't want to go start registering. If they have a lot of 2-letter domains or 3-letter domains available, don't go investing because their own country isn't even behind them yet. So
can you look up one specific domain and see the details? I can show you my screen. By the way, we have European watchers, and Dutch market is very strong.
Oh yeah, Dutch market is one of
those. Dutch market is really, really, really strong, and there is a domain name that
but
is.
You can also tell by how many domains drop.
CatchTiger 37.nl and CatchTiger. That is a drop catching platform.
I'm coming back to your screen.
Yep, and so less than 10 minutes left. Well, you should not quit this. This live stream, but you can put up your bet. The bet is rising up quite high, 377 euros at the moment for 37.nl. But if you want to go all crazy, you are most welcome. So, can you check that 37.nl on your tools?
And what do you want me to check about it?
When is it dropping really?
Oh, yeah, I can check that. Let me go.
And again, if you go to CatchTiger, I can even post a link. You can go and look it up for yourself. Well, you are most welcome. That is a price range I am not going into.
Well, the other thing to know is that all of these different TLDs and CCTLDs drop at different times. So you have to know that as well. So I have some stats on it I can share with you now. Let me just go back to my screen.
That would be interesting.
Go back to the application window.
As on the main order, the auction, the pre-sale or drop catching offer has.
Here it is here.
Yes.
It's got obviously short length, registered in 2008. It's got a bunch of screenshots. We could check and see what it was. It's registered. It's obviously short. So a lot of these things don't really apply. Like you're not going to really look. And he's even got it so you can backward it here. so you know exactly where to get it. It's going to drop. I don't think 300 euros is that much, to be honest with you, but again, it's everybody else's budget.
Of course.
So
Of course.
you have to decide. You've only got a certain amount of money, no matter who you are, whether you've got $1 million or $100. So you have to make sure you stick to whatever your budget is and don't get caught in an auction frenzy, which often happens to most people. So, I mean, you can take a look at this domain name. You can see it's listed at Catch Tiger. They have it here listed. And it's currently registered through Hexanet. And we can back order it. They've already got it, so it's in auction, and not much you can do. I mean, I think it's a good deal. .nl.
Are you saying they already have it? They already have caught it?
I think they've already caught it, yeah, and they're auctioning it off.
Oh, okay. I actually thought it was okay.
No, I'm pretty sure that if we go here, it's specifically theirs.
So it is. Oh, yes, it is for sale. Okay.
So I don't have an account here, so obviously that's why it's not showing anything. I will stop sharing, and I'll come back to you.
So for our European watchers, it is a decent. Although I would be really before we go to the next one, the next tool. What is your experience on NNCA domain names?
Not good. It's they're not near as valuable as the letter ones. Obviously, if you have a company that wants to call it 76, then obviously it makes more sense for them. But the value of a NN as opposed to an LL is much different.
I have discovered it as well. Interestingly, from .com point, NN is much more valuable.
Well, again, it depends on the Chinese market, but the Chinese market's not investing yet. Although we have a huge Chinese population in Canada, maybe they will want the numbers. And again, the problem is there's only 10 numbers, 0 to 9 on both sides, so you have that many combinations. But then there's certain numbers that they don't want, so that are bad luck. So you have to take those out, and you have to 4 is forget about it. I mean, there's a few that you have to, and then there's some that. We skipped Windows 9 because it was bad luck in Japanese. We went from 8 to 10. There's a lot of different things with.
Are you serious? Is 9 bad?
Yeah, I believe in the Japanese culture. I'm not sure, but I know in one culture it's bad. So there are certain numbers that Windows purposely skipped to do that. So I mean, I've had a lot of three NNs.
Yes.
I think I recently let some of them go because I just there were no value, no interest, and it was like, yeah, no thanks. My money can be spent elsewhere. And a lot of times you have to prioritize. I am constantly upgrading my portfolio, even today after 20 years, because there's names like I sold a name in the middle of selling a name yesterday. It was a name that I don't need. arearug.ca. I let it go for $2,000 US because I don't need it. What am I going to do? I'm not going to open up a rug store. At the time, it was good. I probably had it for 4 or 5 years, maybe put $100 into it. It's time to let it go. So I was happy to do that. So, but I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that happens. Plus, the other thing is you can't really price. I'm going to show you the next tool, which is interesting.
Yes. And while before we continue, I can see that there are 2 questions from Bobby, but we'll put them up for the part 3, please. So live Q&As will be on the part 3. So the next part after the tools, the next part will be the main portfolio review, and then we'll have live Q&A.
So you're going to make them stick around to watch the portfolio review, huh?
Well, you have to.
I haven't seen the portfolio review. Let's go on to the next website. Let me close down some of the ones that I have up before I switch over to it.
Thank you, Adam.
Where is it?
Yes, and before somebody goes into those numbers, I remember I haven't met in person, but there is a huge Belgium domainer who has almost all the NNs, and he was very surprised that I had 27.be, and he said, "How is it possible? It should be yours." So talking about 37.nl, at the moment the bid is 402 euros, and he actually said that he wish he went into .coms, not BEs.
Well, originally, I don't know if you remember this, but BEs, they were handing them out for free a long time ago. That was one of the domains that you could get for free, and people were buying tons of them, and that may have hurt the BE market. But then in the long run, for somebody who lives in the country, then it's fine. But yeah, it's an interesting prospect. I'm going to shorten my window and switch to the next tool. So the next tool is kind of interesting, and people like it. I'm not sure why, but it does have value to some people. Yes. That's not it. Let's go back over to here.
No problem.
So this is Name Bio. It's a good tool. What it does is it allows you.
I love Name Bio.
It allows you to look at comparison sales and look at what things sold for. So I just typed in drone and put anywhere, and then you see drones.net sold for $5,800. Whatever else, and they're all in here. Drone Market, which is a good domain name, $3,400. That was a steal. And then it gives you pages and pages of them. Obviously, I can change the records to 50 or 100. Drone Man is an interesting brandable. So a lot of people tend to look at these things the wrong way. Comparables are just that, but they're not truly comparables. What I look at comparables for is I look at, and this is an interesting way to look at it, and this is how I also look at a lot of com names. I look at drones.net, $5,485, and then I go look at some of the other ones in different CCTLDs to see if I can get Drone Market, because it's a decent one, in like a CA or in something else that I may want. But there's no way to compare Drone Market with Drone Markets, or I don't know, drones.net with drones.org, and think that you're going to get a certain percentage more than that. Drone instructions. I mean, these are all different names. You just can't really compare apples to apples. This is a great guide for people to look at what names sold for, but it shouldn't by any means be used as a guide to tell you what to price your domains for. Anybody who comes in could be interested in something at a completely different price and doesn't have anything to do with this. It's rare you're going to sell the plural and the singular to the same person. That doesn't happen all the time. And then to come in and see that, well, this guy spelled Dronescape with a Z or Z, wherever country you're in, and got $100 for it. Well, maybe I can go register dronescape.it or whatever and get it. You're not going to get it. I mean, this is just a guide to just keep you interested and thinking, and you can put them at the start. And it's a great site. I love this site, but I like to use certain tools because they give me ideas of what to get elsewhere. That's it. Now I'm going to switch midstream to another tool that I think you're going to like. It's called ZF Bot. This was a tool that I originally, where is it?
Can we actually go back to Name Bio and quickly check IS market, as I love going Name Bio?
Yes, you do.
Watching CCTLD markets.
Sure, let's check.
And that little Iceland, you did surprise me.
Well, it's just our example.
Yes.
But it's a good one since you seem to like it.
I would love to see what you do with your IS domain names.
Yeah. Okay, here's IS. Good, cheap. God knows, I don't know why this one went for $4,000. We'll have to look at that. But it sold on March 8th of this year for $4,000 US, which is interesting. Other ones, this one sold for $140, vc.is. That's a steal. That was you, wasn't it?
No.
I mean, that's funny.
That's mental. These prices are absolutely, when you see their names, people did get.
Well, and hopefully these aren't all just marketplace listings. I would hate to think this poor guy put on Sado and had to give up 15 or 20% of this on the 140. So who knows? Now it looks like they're all selling on Dockley. So maybe that's something to look at later. I'll open it up in a browser for later that I can check out. So interesting. And these ones sold on Sado. Here's all these little ones, more in the range of where they should be selling. 1,500, 1,500, 1,100, and things like that. So here's this one, $180. But this was in 2009. That makes sense.
Okay, it does.
So
the prices are ridiculous, yes.
I hope you've satisfied your IS quench.
Well, I quite often do check lv.las and other ones as well.
So I'm going to switch back and chat with you for a minute while I find the other site. Okay, so I've shut that down. Make sure I don't shut down your window. And then the other thing is, like, make sure you do your research on the Wayback Machine. It is a very good tool. The other thing that I'll tell you while I'm looking for this is there is a way to take any site that is on archive.org. And this is pretty interesting. You're going to like
Okay.
this. You can actually take a site, whether it's yours or whether it's a site you like, and you can give it to a company that will actually rebuild the site from the archive.org listing for you exactly as it was.
Oops,
So let's say I had I owned high impact sites maybe 10 years ago or whatever. Let's say that I wanted to get the design back because I liked it. I can go back in, give them the exact URL under archive.org, and then they'll go ahead and rebuild the site exactly as I had it intact with WordPress and everything else, and my old usernames will work, or they can change them, and off I go and running. Now you could do it.
Your old username will definitely not work, but
no, they'll have to reset it in the database. But what's interesting is if there's a site you've been watching and you like, and you want to get it back, and it's no longer functional, you can go ahead and take a look at it. You can take information, you can store it, and hopefully you contact the owner for proper authority and say, you're not using anymore. It's okay if I use your site. You don't just copy and put his site back as if it's yours.
Dear webmasters, a note, disclaimer. Dear webmasters, please be
don't steal.
Monks. Don't do that.
Don't steal.
If somebody is rebuilding your site, it is one thing.
Yeah.
Please do not rebuild sites of other people, as those Indian probably developers, or maybe God knows which countries. Anyway, those good people will most often take the pictures from other websites. You probably don't have rights to use. They will use text. They will use so many things, and don't take that route.
Yeah, the only sites that I've actually rebuilt are sites that I own, and it's come in very handy. So let's go off to the next
and
tool.
What are the market prices?
It's like $40-$50 per site. That's it.
$40-$50.
Yeah. I'll go find this site.
Okay.
I mean, it's good if you own a site and you don't have it anymore. Sorry?
72 hours and the site is back, probably.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. But there's a company that
these days it is quite easy to copy the site, of course.
Yeah, but like I said, I've had it where I've lost sites that I wanted, and I don't know, it worked out nice for me, but on sites that I actually had. So I may have changed my site to a new one. I don't like it. Maybe I'm back to a different one now, and I prefer the old one, and I deleted the old one. I can go back and restore it. So that's helpful. So anyway, it's good for restoring your own sites, but again,
absolutely
not great for stealing content from others. So I'm looking for it. I don't see it offhand right away, but I will find it and get it to you. Another second and I'll have it.
Adam, so you have two email addresses. One is adam.dicker@gmail.com and another one is adam@xy.ca.
Yeah, I use both. Just one because it's shorter. Oh, I found the site, by the way, for the other thing. It's called Wayback Machine Downloader. And that's to use for your own site. And off you go. That's the name of it. Okay, let's look at a different tool that I think your users are going to like. I think you're going to like, actually. So let's take a look. I will switch screens to that.
Okay.
So this is a tool.
And while we go, keep those questions coming in. We'll get back to them, all of them. Thank you.
So this is a tool.
Okay.
I guess you have to sign in now. I haven't signed in a while.
Okay, let me lower your screen just in case.
That's okay, and I've signed in.
Just let me know.
It's asking me for a trial. I'm just selecting a trial. I'll tell you when.
No problem.
It's asking me. I don't know why it does. Oh, okay. I'll look at the samples and I won't bother. Okay, so what this does, you can go back now.
Okay.
So what this does, it allows you to, and he's charging for it now, it was free for a while. It allows you to go in and it's got some expired stuff, but this isn't what I used it for. But let me go back to the front page. I'm just going to show you what it can do, and we won't need to log in. What it does is it allows me to show you any domain name. Let's say I was into things like, we'll use drone again. I can, actually I can stop sharing. The site is zfbot or zfbot.com. and you can go there on your own and look at it. But the features that it gives you is you can go ahead and find any domain name that starts with any keyword you want that's already registered in .com or in any CCTLD or anything you want. So if I'm into drones or whatever it is, and I look up drones, it'll give me a huge spreadsheet of all the com names that are registered that start with drone, that end with drone, or have drone in them. You can decide. And then you can take that list and you can remove the ones that tells you the name servers. You can remove the ones that are parked, looked at the ones that are real businesses, or you can look at the whole list. And then what I like to do is I like to take it and compare it to other CCTLDs and get ideas for names that are very good or very popular, and then go register them in the other CCTLDs that I could be interested in. So it's pretty good for stuff like that. And you can use it obviously for other words that aren't in the English language that people registered in .com. Could be anything from hello to whatever it is that you know is a good keyword. And some will only have like 100 domains, some will have 3, some will have 30,000 or 3,000. So it's very interesting because it allows you to go through and not have to think of all the really good domain names that you would not be able to think of, and look at all the brains of everybody else combined and filter out what is good there in that topic that you can add and that you can register for yourself. So let's say you're looking for weed domains. Weed is legal in Canada.
Let's try it out. Let's try it out.
I have to go in and sign up and all that stuff. It's just
okay,
we'll have to do that next time.
Yes, no
but
problem.
it's a good tool. It used to be free, and it's worth whatever it is now. I think it's only $5. But
or maybe I should reach out to zfbot.com and say, hey, you've been referred.
Yeah, it was actually a DN forum idea of mine that I was working with him originally to help him get that tool started because I needed it. And then he decided to make it into a nice big tool because everyone liked it. But it's a really useful tool for a lot more reasons than I've been able to explain. Definitely worth whatever it is, $5 to use or something like that, and something to play with.
Sounds great.
As far as tools, I think that's it for today. I think we covered quite a bit, and I don't want to really overwhelm anybody. I do plan on doing a very long video eventually on how to sell domains. So we'll do that not next week. That's going to be a big one, really big one.
Oh, I would love to. I would love to have that one.
Well, that one's going to be the updated, latest version of the #1 video that I had on Domain Sherpa for about 5 years or whatever it was. But it's going to be so much better because I've learned so much in the meantime, and I can look over all the questions and everything that I answered then and come up with more up-to-date answers for today, for going into 2021, on how to sell a domain name, how to know when to sell a domain name, and how to use these tools to actually find a domain name on a drop list, and then how to actually find the buyers, and then how to sell it, and all the tips and tricks to get into it. So that'll be another great one. The one that I was thinking before we go on next week is a little bit of how to sell a domain name, and maybe we will do that one next, but it's brokering a domain name, talking about brokering, because to me, there are some brokers that are really good, but really a broker is for somebody who has better contacts than you, or knows how to get to the right people, or you just don't have the sales skills at all to be able to handle it yourself, or the confidence, and you want somebody who's equipped in sales to be able to handle it. So we have a few good topics for future videos, that's for sure.
Just few.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious? I actually wanted to
maybe 100.
Give you a thought before we go into the portfolio. So on HostMaria, we have my company has 30.lv domain names, and you mentioned, I think in the first video, that you could help selling them. LV, so Latvia, Las Vegas.
Yep.
I had a bit different thought, a bit twisted one, if I could use the word.
Okay. Well, you're talking to me, so you got to be a bit twisted.
Instead of you putting in all the time and effort, and time is a resource that is very limited to all of us. What if there was somebody who went through you, and you would control the person?
You mean like giving them instructions, like an assistant?
So you could train a salesperson, or even two, and then to say what is industry standard 15%. So 10% of the sale would go to that person, and 10% would go into your company.
I'll say two things to that. One, I'm happy to do it, but I won't accept the 10% for the effort. I'll be happy because somebody else will get, one or two people, whoever it is, will get trained up and understand how to sell domains properly. It's almost like you would get an admin assistant on Upwork or somebody and get them all trained up and go. So I'm happy to do that for good people. But I'm hoping that they stay dedicated to you if they're selling your portfolio and don't decide to learn how to sell and run off and help the whole world. Yet everybody should have their own person trained up.
So how do you like, but how do you like the idea itself? Let us say numbers are irrelative.
Yeah.
Numbers are always, numbers are flexible always. But how do you like the idea? As I was thinking on how to respect your time more, as you are really busy.
No, I have no problem working with somebody. I'm available usually all the time on Skype or WhatsApp or something like that. So I have no problem helping people find where to find potential buyers for domains or how to approach them or giving them the right emails on how to approach them and what they should do. I find that some people don't know how to write the sales emails or the subjects, and that cuts off a lot of sales right then and there.
My apologies.
That's okay. So that cuts off a lot of the sales emails and discussions right away. But I can tell you this, the person has to be confident in picking up the phone as well. It's not just going to be through emails that they're going to sell domains. As a matter of fact, most of the domains are going to have to be through email, a phone call, follow-up, and that's the way to sell domains. It's not just by sending out emails to a bunch of companies and hoping somebody replies. That's the lazy domainer's way.
Let us think about it, okay?
Sure.
Let us find a way, and I'll be open, and I would love to work with you. Absolutely. And these are the Latvian domain names. So all of them are EH, FJ, FV, GV, HO, IG, IU. So all of them are great domain names. I'm absolutely flexible on pricing as well. We can price them higher.
Yeah, I mean,
it's up to you.
I'm interested. The pricing obviously has to reflect what was paid for them, so there has to be profit in them, obviously.
Yes.
But I don't think those are unreasonable prices for two-letter domain names, regardless of what country they are. We just have to instill the value in the people that are purchasing them. I never would have thought that an AG.AG, Algeria or whatever it is, I still don't even know the country, even though I sold it, was worth 12,000 euros, which is almost $20,000 Canadian. So, I mean, I never expected that. It was just like a fluke. So the value is always in the eye of the buyer, not the seller.
So that was the thought. I would lovely give the ball to you, and then you could wiggle it and think what is there. As for me, I'm trying to build up HostMaria, the hosting wise, and finally our AppSumo deal is live. I'm sure you know AppSumo. Do you?
Yeah.
Oh God, it was such a pain to get in there, and finally our deal is live. By the way, on the bottom, appsumo.com/hostmaria. AppSumo has put up a stamp of quality. They've checked our services, agreements, and everything, and you can go and get a plan or annual hosting 12 months for $4 only. $4. And the best part, you can put, that's for the domainers, unlimited domain names. And I mean it, unlimited domain names. That is that.
Very cool.
HostMaria. And regarding the domain name sales, I physically haven't got time to do that. As horrible it could sound.
Well, have you picked out your assistant yet? Or are you going to pick one out?
No, I haven't picked up yet the one out.
Well, then that'll be fun. You'll have to decide on that first, and then we can start.
But we could talk about the process.
No problem.
It could be really, really interesting. Maybe we could even bring the person in.
It's up to you. We can train them online.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be something interesting. So maybe you are watching and you are interested. Let us know. And commissions. So probably otherwise you would get a bigger pie, and then the other person would be.
I don't want a piece of the pie.
We can talk about that later. And the questions are coming, and the questions will be put up on part 3. Okay, Adam. So domain name portfolio.
Okay, now I haven't seen this yet.
Really?
No, I don't look at them ahead of time. I don't want to don't want to have any bias until I see them, because usually the first opinion is the best. So I have not looked at it at all.
Okay.
Are
This
you
would be interesting.
sharing your screen?
No, I'm not.
Well, how am I going to see the portfolio?
Oh, I see. Like that. Okay, no problem.
I really haven't seen it.
Okay, let me do it like that. And maybe this is not the best way, but here we go.
Okay. All right. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is look up.
Oh God, I need to do it in a different way somehow.
Oh, because of the videos.
Yes. Here we go.
Okay. The first thing I have to do is look up what that word means. Meaning catering industry. There you go.
Yes.
Okay, so that was the first thing I had to do. So a lot of times with portfolio, you have to you're dealing with words that aren't in your language, and since I haven't prepared for this, I had to look up what it meant.
And Petru, when you are watching, please leave the comments. Please leave the comments of your best sales, and you've had them as well. Thank you.
Okay, now just to confirm we're in the right language, it says it's Dutch for catering industry.
Yes.
Okay, Google Translate is very good for stuff like this. Okay, the first three, I would have to look and see what they were. Ivana obviously looks like a name to me. If we're dealing with all Dutch, I'd have to look and see if those were actually names or what they are. So I would Google them and take a look. The other ones, catering industry. So here's the issue, is that catering industry is a Dutch word. So I'm not sure how much value that it's going to have in .co.uk and some of these other TLDs. Oh, excellent. It's not just Dutch, it's global.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Perfect. So that makes it easier to understand. Catering industry, horeca. You have a city in Romania as well, 92,000 people.
Oh, yes. 92,000 people, and Ulaanbaatar, Mongolian capital. Well, with dash though.
Yeah. Web design MD, that's not bad. Web design doctor, that's a brandable, that's sellable. So web design MD is the easiest one for me to figure. You can get probably 3,000 to 5,000, 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000 for that one, for the right buyer. It's actually a pretty good brandable to be the web design doctor when you can go in and charge per hour for WordPress fixes or whatever else you want to do. It's not bad. That's a good name.
Okay.
Now, back to our catering domains. As long as I'm going to do some research in another window and just take a quick look as what other else it is. 5 basics.
Can we see what you are doing?
Yeah. Let me switch over.
This would be great. Thank you.
I am going to share my screen. And it was...
Okay. First 3 are on BB list.
What's BB?
Brand bucket.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this is the first thing I did because I wanted to see what it was, and then it told me it's a catering industry. It says
a bit narrower, please.
Yep, a lot narrower. What's interesting also, by the way, is that I have a tool in my browser that I'll tell you guys about. It's called, let me get the name of it.
Could we reshare the window, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go back.
And this is the beauty of live streams. Everything happens live, so nothing is cut out as it is. That's the perfect world.
Here's something interesting that everybody will probably want. It's a tool called keyword related keywords.
Okay.
And what it does is, if you can see my browser, you'll see that it changes it, and under everything I search, it puts the actual search volume per month and the CPC and how much competition there is.
Wow.
As I browse.
Yes.
So it can tell you there's 1,000 searches a month for this keyword, horeca. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. And then it also tells me down the side here what else people are looking for with the same related keyword. So it tells me that in India there's 140 people a month. In English there's 70 people, and it gives me some information on what's there. Now there's no CPC to these things, but that's okay. And then it gives me also search for horeca products or whatever else they actually looked for. And then I can export this list if I want to, just by clicking export list, and it will give me this whole list of everything else right in Excel, and off we go.
What is it? Chrome tool you are
Yeah,
using?
it's a Chrome tool, but I believe they have it for other things. It's called Related Keywords, and that's the logo you'll find beside it. It's a big
Great.
K. But I'll just switch off for 1 second just to show you something else. Is if
Okay.
I pick insurance, it'll tell you, if I spell it right, it'll tell me exactly how many quotes there are for insurance a month, and it'll load it up and give me this information.
Okay.
Hopefully, if I do it quick there. And it's thinking 368,000 searches a month for insurance. You can see the next one's car insurance, auto insurance, and it gives you the CPC and everything else. So it's a good tool to have in general. And now we'll go back to searching these key. And it also shows you trends. So some things are down because they're seasonal. You'll see the trends as well. I use this tool a lot when I'm thinking about domain research, and it hooks up to Google API. It's a pretty simple tool. So let's go back to where we were. So my thought process for this is because I didn't know what the word was. The first thing I want to know is figure out what the word is. I want to figure how popular it is. I want to read what it means in different sectors. It's a sector of food service industry, consists of establishments preparing food service, and it tells me here the code covers hotels, bars, restaurants related to business in the Netherlands and in other places, Dutch trade, catering. The sector is one of the fastest growing in Europe. Okay, so that adds some value right away. A little bit of research can go a long way. Now, he already knew why he wanted this domain name and what the value was. I didn't, because I've never heard of the word before. So he's obviously ahead on some trends. In 2004, it started to take off, and then it goes from there. So it's interesting to see that it's taken off in many different cultures, and that helps me go back. Then one of the things that I'll do, not that, we don't need that, I can stop sharing, is I'll go in and I'll look up. This would be a good time to also look up related domain names and see how many. Yeah, Keywords Everywhere is the name of the tool. He's right. And go see what other domains, let's say in ZF Bot, are also registered with that domain name. And then you can start to do research and figure out how many are registered with the same TLDs, without the same TLDs, and then start to figure out what to do. But the other thing is, what's the goal of his portfolio? Is the goal to sell the domains, or is it to build the domains? There's only a couple reasons why people buy domains, and that's either because they want to sell them, they want to hold them, or they want to develop them. Hold them would be just wait and park them and hope somebody comes to you. So if you're there, let us know what your purposes of these domain names is. Yes. Are you building out a big brand, or are you looking to sell them to a company who's already involved in this space? In which case we can look up using Google actual companies that have that word in their name, and actual companies who are using it and that are sizable, and then start to approach them with emails and see if they're interested in buying it. The same way we did the acronym search last week to be able to tell you if a keyword is there and it's used in the company's URL, or if it's used in the company's name, which I'm sure it is. You'll be able to find a list and then export 50 to 100 companies that you could possibly go through. Figure out which ones are the biggest based on size, based on revenue, based on how long they've been around, and then start to approach the top 5 and see what kind of answers you get and go from there.
So you would not start with checking horeca.com? No? No.
I could. I mean, you definitely could, but I want to get a bigger audience to see, because if I just look at that one, it could be, first of all, it could be a landing page. I haven't looked at that either, or it could be a company. Now, if it's a company, I would definitely put them on my list to contact, and then also check where their locations are. Do they have a location in the Netherlands? Do they have a location in some of the other country and CCTL domains that they has? Because if they do have a location in the Netherlands, then they're definitely more likely to be interested in a country where the word is popular. So if you take, you can go to the com right now and check and see if it's taken or available.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, you can check all of the CCTLDs and other domains that you have and see if it's used. You also need to make sure that it's not a trademark somewhere. Make sure it's not branded as a trademark in certain countries. So there's lots of research that you need to do. You don't want to approach a company with a domain name in the UK that has it as a trademark for something else. Again, you also have to be careful what kind of a landing page or what you're doing with it now. Sometimes if they have a product and it's related to a catering business, If it's a general word, that's fine, but you also don't want to have it when you're not using it for anything on a landing page that's showing similar words for no reason that you're not going to make money on anyway.
Adam, regarding the Horeca, could we go actually through the domain name extensions? So
Sure.
CO Colombia. What do you think about it?
So out of the domains that he has here, I would say Pro is unfortunately not very valuable to me. US, unfortunately, the US has never really gotten behind .us. So I would say that one is not really valuable unless you find somebody in the US who's interested. The other three, CO is okay. UK is probably one of the better ones here. And obviously, if he had the .in or .nl, that would be one of the better ones.
Okay, and regarding the .uk, Petru, if you haven't got .co.uk, then your .uk is almost available at the moment. It still has got some value, but
I do like the delivery. See certain extensions. This is a good way that he's used extensions for information, and I can relate it to things like people used to buy things like cancer.info. Okay, that makes sense if you're looking for info, but then they'd buy things like blue dolphin chair stuff like that doesn't make any sense. He's used these GTLDs in a really good way, so he's picked up good ones. His industry also is a good one. The horeca industry is a good one.
Okay. Yes. And that's .com as well.
Yeah, and it's probably also sellable. I don't know what he paid for these domain names, but something like that. It's a popular name, popular brand. He could probably, again, at least get a few thousand.
Do you think so, Adam? I would be very skeptical about it.
I think you can. It depends. If you paid $20 for it, then getting between 1,500 and 3,000 should be okay. If not, if he paid 5,000 for it, then he's going to be holding it a lot longer. So it depends. Like I said, I've got some names I've bought for too high that I'm holding. Some I may even have to sell either at a loss or whatever, just to learn my lesson and move on.
Yes.
I think I haven't done enough research in this to say, but he's covering the industry. I think it's a good name, and it sounds like it's good. Now, does horeca mean catering industry, and then it's saying catering industry catering or catering industry.industry? That's where we have to take a look and see. So,
yes. And .at, that's Austria, of course.
Yeah. So if he's done it in countries where they're valuable, then it's going to be good. I really have to look a little bit more in depth in that. But his, I think it was Web Design MD is a pretty good one too.
Yes, .co.uk is for sale.
Yeah.
So Petru, I live in the UK myself. I've sold and bought UK and .co.uk domain names before. And if you deal with .co.uk domains, you have to have both of them. If you are going after the end user, you have to have both .co.uk and .uk. One without another one is so. And as I understand, Petru has sold already some for good numbers.
Good. Well, maybe he sold a lot of the good ones.
What do you say about mayor.eu? And let us go over here, mayor.eu.
See, the EU, I can't really say that it's taken off in North America as a really popular TLD. I think it's doing okay in Europe, but I don't think is it a leader like it's supposed to be?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, see, that's one of the problems is that the countries are, because of their national pride, are adapting their CCTLDs before overall EU, and that's also a bit of an issue. I noticed that in a lot of places. They want to be known as Latvians, or they want to be known as Italians or Spaniards.
There is national identity tied to your local domain name, yes. Or .com gives you, with .com you say, hey, we trade globally. EU hasn't got that soul. Logistics companies actually do use quite a lot of EU. I've noticed.
And then with NCS Health, I would make sure you find if there's a trademark or non-trademark on that, and then target it to something that companies may have NCS in their name, related to health, and then try to figure out and make sure you're not pointing it to a park page that could infringe on any of the trademarks. Put it to yoga or something if there's no yoga company or something while you're trying to sell it, and then approach them and say, look, I've had it since 1996. Due to what's going on in the coronavirus era, I don't think I'm going to be developing it or using it, and I think it'd be better off in your hands if you're interested in purchasing it for this price.
So what about the Romanian city in .com?
So I can't really speak about the Romanian city. I can tell you that I have quite a few city domain names, and I don't really I get traffic to them. You need to probably do some sort of a directory, a local directory, a business directory, and charge businesses to get in it or listed. Maybe concentrate it right now on, because of the virus and people aren't going out, on takeout services or delivery services or delivering food. Get the local restaurants to chip in $20 or $10 just to be in the directory and tell them you're trying to support the city by letting everybody know that certain companies are still alive and in business and selling and operational. But I haven't had much luck on cities. Lots of people like them. Lots of people want to own them, but there's not a whole lot you can do with them. Besides city portals, like if you're specific, like I know there's things like Tennessee or Florida, but certain cities that are in development or growing, or even big cities that I have now, I don't get as much traffic as let's say the Costello brothers do on their city sites. Their sites are good, but it's hard to get to that level of branding. Which, if you're taking a city site like that, you have to really let people know you're building it. Everyone knows the city exists.
Absolutely.
But you still have to advertise it, that it's a complete portal for the city or whatever you're going to do. And that takes a lot of work and a lot of money.
Yes. And it has got lots of hidden benefits as well.
It has hidden benefits.
So like you will grow your network.
Yeah, or if you just want free food, you can go in and put up a site and you can be the food reviewer for the whatever city name it is, and go have a meal and taste it and put up a nice review for them yourself and build your review city. I mean, there's lots you can do. It's very time consuming, and it's going to take a lot of time to do.
Yes. And what about Ulaanbaatar with with dash? So what do you say about dashes?
Well, I mean, you can look at your traffic. Hopefully you're measuring traffic, by the way, on these things, and you can see, even when I measure my portfolio and I'm pricing domains that aren't necessarily priced, I look at the most visited pages and price downwards if I want to price them, and then that's how I do it. So check the traffic. If it's not getting any traffic now, it's not getting any traffic, and then it won't have any value. Plus, you also have to look at Mongolia and see how internet savvy they are. How many... you really need to look at that as well. So,
territory-wise, Mongolia is huge, but population-wise, there are less. I think there are less than 2 million people up there, and there are only 4 large cities, and they have huge problems with alcoholism, and they actually make money when they are going to China. They work in China quite a lot, so economy is quite battered up there.
What's the CCTLD for that one? Is it MG?
No, MG is for no. MD was for Moldova. MG, God knows.
Let me look. I'll look right now. So the Madagascar is MG.
Madagascar, yes.
Well, let's see what it is for Mongolia. It is MN.
MN, okay.
Oh, and then I will also tell you, I'm glad we found that out. If you look to register.mns, they're very expensive, and there's a lot available. If I recall correctly, they're over $100 a year for or you have to register it for 5 years. There's something with it that I know. I've looked at them and then I've walked away because either it was too expensive, no traffic, or something was tied to it. So.
Oh yes, Petru. And if you like your EUs, British residents have got problems now with holding and renewing EU domain names. So as Britain has left European Union, we are not allowed. We are not to have EU domain names. We need to have a resident address in the territory of European Union. So many British domainers will be dropping their EU domain names. That is a market. If you like it, you can follow it up.
Actually, I just did a fact check on myself. It's $65 a year for the MN domain name. That's it. Which, I mean, that's not horrible if you're going to get a good domain name, but you better build on it, or you better have a buyer for it. If you're going to start buying 10 of those at
Yes.
$65 a piece or whatever it is.
Okay. Fantastic. So that was it. Yes. So now live Q&A. Let us go back to the questions.
Okay.
Okay. He's big fan of US. So what do you say? What do you think about .us domain names? And then I'll go to the oldest questions.
So I have nothing against .us. My only problem is that unlike other countries, for some reason, Americans tend to go for .com, they tend to go for .net, and they even tend to go for other things right now rather than US. Even the .ios have taken off, and a bunch of other CCTLDs. My only problem with the .us is that it's not widely advertised and used by the American people. Other than that, it's obviously a great two-letter CCTLD.
Absolutely.
It just needs to be accepted, and it needs to be advertised. Like, I can only speak for countries I've been to, like the Bahamas. I told you I see .bs everywhere, and I laugh. I've been to other places, Italy, Spain, everywhere, Canada, and I see the .cas and the .its and everything else, and Portugal as well. So the problem is that it's not with registering the .us, it's with the acceptability and the usage by the American people. Somehow it's been overlooked. Still, it's a good short brand. I mean, if I lived in the US, I'd love to have my domain name as adam.whatever, ad.us or whatever. So it's a great name. I just, it's not as valuable only because it's not being as accepted. At the person that asked, have you seen much usage of .us in the United States? I've been to the US a lot, and I haven't seen it a lot, and I would certainly notice it because I look at the world from different eyes. Everything is a possible domain to me, and I read every sign. I look at every sign. I look at everybody who's got old URLs and old Gmail accounts on their business and Hotmail accounts, and I think, God, get your own email address, get your own domain, do something. But I haven't seen a lot of .us, and that's the only problem is acceptance. There's nothing wrong with the domain itself.
And that is a question from Bobby.
So I have seen those. I've seen a lot of the .ggs come available lately. I think they're, I have to look, but I think they're pretty reasonably priced. And I think they're good domain names. Again, I have to look up what country because typically I go through so many of them. So it's Bailiwick of Guernsey. Again, I'm not saying that right, but it's okay. Administered by the Island Networks in Jersey. So I mean, I have used it. I've seen it. I think it is a good domain name. But again, if you're looking to sell, it's all about how many are taken currently. What's the usage? If you're looking to build a business, it's great. But if it sounds like you're looking for it for investment, in which case you need to look at how many 2 letters, 3 letters, 4 letters are available, how many of the keywords, and how many are actually registered. So, I mean, I can quickly go back to that tool that I showed earlier and just see what's available in .gg. I'll do that right now. Oh no, it's got a lot more usage than some of the other ones I'm looking at under G. Like it's got more usage than Guyana, more than Greenland, more than a couple other ones. So there's definitely some good things in them. So I think they're becoming more and more popular. And then if you're looking for stuff that just is expiring recently, let me see what I can get for you that's available right now. So there's a lot of 2-letter things and 1-letter. A lot of numerics have expired. Like I'm looking at, I better share my screen because there's a lot here that has, and I'm keeping it small for you. There's a lot here, like these ones here, 5A, 3A. These ones are all available pretty much. So that tells me that there's a lot going on here and there's a lot available. Now, sorry, if I reduce it to get rid of the numbers, we'll see a lot more disappear. And then you can just look at if you want to invest, let's say, in the letters. And then you go to the three letters. So there's no 2 letters available, which is a good sign, which means it is growing nicely. And then you can still get some good pronounceable key letters like tvi.gg, that one's available. So, and you can sort them by recently dropped if you want and see what's new that's dropped, like that 25-day one. And you can see also they're coming from a similar registrar. So you know to go back order them at that specific registrar. There was one that was picked up yesterday that dropped. Let's go see what that was. It's up here. And you can see that was one of these up here. So there's a lot of good stuff in GG that you can still get. I see there's gadgets is available, the influencer. I mean, there's lots of, I don't think you want idiot heads, but there's lots of things that are still available. Gumdrop, Grouper, Gloria, if the name exists there. But there's lots of small ones here, and you'd have to look through again and filter them the same way you would anything else. But GG is clearly being picked up as a good CCTLD to use, and it's growing.
That's interesting. Yes, I quickly, while it was there, I did double check these ones. So please do not invest money in these domain names. Please consider to be the free ones. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and also by research you can tell which ones actually have value and which ones don't. But yeah, I see a lot of these, and just for the record, I also don't recommend the double CCTLDs, .com.org, com.nets, and all those unless they're widely popular. But I think I registered one only in a country where that's all they had, but not because of any other reason. So
these domain names are famous. They are being branded as free domain names. You can have them for half a year free, or something like that. And they are heavily used by spammers. For illegal needs and for traffic, just tunneling traffic and all the good stuff like that. And many hosting companies, including HostMaria, we have, for example, we have limited SMTP. If you come with this domain name, you cannot use SMTPs on these domain names.
Yeah, and I didn't know that, because I would have probably still bought some of the better quality ones, but in general, no. Now that I know, I'll heed your advice.
And if you can't use them for business, then that's...
Yeah. Again, to go over it, there's only 3 reasons to buy a domain name. Either you want to develop a business, you want to try to sell the domain name, or you just want to hold on to it and pray that somebody's going to come and contact you and pay registration fees. So you need outbound sales. You need somebody like Helmuts' assistant to come and learn how to sell them and then sell domains. There's no point in holding domains. Every smart domainer trims their portfolio as they pick up more knowledge yearly, monthly, all the time. And then if you sell one, like Area Rug or whatever I'm going to sell, it's closing this week, take the money and either buy a much better one, because I'm not going to have a rug store, or keep the money and put it in your pocket. Do one of those 2 things, but don't buy a crappy domain.
Absolutely. And then there is a question from a divine profile.
The answer is, I already see domaining is like a lottery, where unfortunately 99.9% of the people that buy domains think they are going to win the lottery, and they're going to have the big names come to them for the domain. They want 100,000, 500,000. That's probably not going to happen to most people, but it could happen to you if you buy the right domains. Even today, there's still a lot of really good ones where you could get that lottery ticket domain. Even today, like I said, that dumb one that I got, dc.ag. I just thought I was registering a 2-letter.ag that I liked because it had traffic, and it turned out somebody wanted it. So there's little lottery tickets. Sometimes in the lottery you win small prizes. Will I lottery off my domain names? Yes. I'm probably going to have to lottery them off to my 4 kids, and they'll have to pick from a hat, or I'm going to do what I expect to do and leave them all to one to manage. And I've picked him out because he's the lawyer in the family. He's graduating from law school this year. So I can trust him, whereas the other 3 may try to rip each other off. So who knows?
Here's a question from Bobby again.
Okay.
And it is great for seeing questions. Please make them come again.
So somebody asked me this about using landing pages. A lot of the times what I like to do is I like to list my domains on multiple platforms, because A, it gives you more of a chance to be found and indexed. B, it gives buyers more of a chance to trip over your page. But obviously, C, you can only redirect the page, the actual domain, to one of those pages. So I tend to pick one company to park all the pages at, but I do list them on all the marketplaces, and I get emails from different companies because people will go to some of those marketplaces and search for domains and then find one of mine, even though it's not pointing there, and then I will get an offer. So right now I use industry landers. I don't really want lots of things on them I don't put pay-per-click on them because I only want them to come there and decide to buy the domain name. And then the other thing that I do is I watch the traffic on them so that I can see if there's a lot of people going to a certain one and I actually want to sell it. I'll price it with a buy now that I'm happy with. It depends on the domain name. I won't price any really high-end domain names with a buy now because I could be leaving money on the table. But some of the lower end ones that I just know I'm not ever going to have time to develop or go into business with, I will price those to make money, get them back into circulation, and go buy other domain names as well. Like you guys, I'm buying and selling domain names every day or every other day sometimes. And I'm always watching renewals because there's hundreds and thousands of domains to watch. So again, what do I include on the page? I usually just send it to either a make offer or a buy now page. I don't want any pay-per-click ads because I want them to be focused on hopefully why they're there. And then I've also done things where I've sent out emails to multiple companies that could be interested in the domain name, and then I redirect them directly to the Sato page or the to make an offer or wherever I'm directing them, Registry, GoDaddy, Epic, wherever it is. So that's what I do.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Your all-time top dollar domain sale and a return on a domain sale. Can you discuss? Yeah. I was lying in bed last night and I was thinking, what domains have I sold? Because there's a lot of people that talk a lot of crap in this industry, but have never actually sold anything. But now they become critics and I enjoy them because they're good for a laugh.
Okay.
I've sold a lot of top dollar names. There's some that come to mind more than others. The top dollar domain sale. So probably one of the top sales I had was the recent one that we talked about, was when a big bank, Scotiabank, bought md.ca. But I will give you one that is even more top than that, and that was I sold SM like Sam Mary.com to the largest chain in the Philippines that owns all of the banks and all the grocery stores. It's called SM Shumart, and that was one of the biggest sales I've had. It was quite a few years ago, and it was good. There's been a lot of good sales. I still think I've only accomplished 5% of what I'm going to do in this industry. Does it mean that I want to come back and be where I was before? Like some people have posted, no. This is not a MAGA, like Trump would say. It's not a make Adam great again. Adam doesn't want to be great. Adam doesn't want all of the interviews. Adam is just sticking with Helmuts. Adam is not looking to do trade shows. Adam is just looking to add value to people that are watching that can learn something from me for no price at all. I love the industry and I love helping people. And that's really the truth, the way it's always been. So for all those worried I'm going to make a comeback and steal your limelight, I have no interest in doing anything. I'm more interested in just building my portfolio and helping friends and colleagues and people that are interested to sell domains. I want to help people that are watching this video who care enough to spend the time and watch it, help them grow their portfolio with the right domains and help sell their domain names. That's it. I don't have any time for anything else. I barely have time, like Helmut said, to even sell his own domains. I barely have time for that. So
absolutely,
that's what I'm concentrating on.
Okay. And what about some? So SM was CA, yes?
Oh no, SM was COM.
COM.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Arius. And what was the price range?
So it was a very high price range because they had, like I said, they had all the banks and all of the grocery store chains, and you can Google them. SM Shumart, you'll see. I think SM.com still points to them. They'll never let it go. I believe they had sm.ph at the time, and they wanted sm.com. So unfortunately, I can't discuss the price. I can tell you that it was really good and much higher than I think was originally reported. I think it reported for $200,000 or $400,000 or $500,000. I don't remember, but it was actually done in secret and the much higher than what it actually was. But I've had some really good domains like forums.com that I can talk about. Sold for
Forums.com.
forums.
Yes.
I sold that for I think $350,000 or $400,000. That was a decent sale. I've had a lot of six-figure sales. Even download.net. I think I sold one of the highest .net domains to a shareware company back in the day, and that one I can tell you I think was 100,000 US for a .net. There's lots of them.
Nets usually don't go up that high. Yes.
No, that one did, and it went to a company that I'm pretty sure they ran a shareware business out of Germany, if I recall.
It is a perfect domain name.
Well, for them, yeah, it's to compete with CNET. It's not a trademark name. It's a perfect brandable for them, and they were very happy. Buyer and seller both happy. Then I've sold a lot of my animal names, like elephant.com was a good sale. Seals.com, I think I sold to another company in Germany. There's been a lot of them and a lot of good CCTLDs. I certainly can say that the domain industry has been great to me. It's added great value to my life, and it continues to do so as I have a huge portfolio still. So, power to domains. And anybody that tells you still can't find good domains hasn't looked at all. There's still tons.
So many of them. Yes. What would you say to Petru?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I do like the US domain name, but it needs to be accepted in the US and needs to be advertised for it to really take off and give you the value that you've put into your .us portfolio. It's that's the bottom line. I mean, it's not your fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just it needs to be accepted. And maybe if more people that believed in .us like yourself started using them for their businesses or started to advertise them, then they'd become as popular as CA. Here in Canada, and I can't speak for other countries, we have commercials that basically guilt us into not using anything other than .ca. It's show your pride, be a proud Canadian. I mean, they hit us hard on the TV networks about .ca, very hard. And
that's
it's
good. But
hey, even if
the same.
Yeah.
The major results you will see, those are local search results. At Canada, those would be .cas.
And then the other unpopular thing that I'll say is those GTLDs. I wouldn't put too much money into those. I don't own more than a handful, and that's only if they really make sense. Other than that, all they do is, in the olden days in California, it wasn't the gold miners that got rich. It was the people selling the picks and shovels. And the GTLD registrars are selling all of you domainers picks and shovels to go mine for gold that probably isn't there. So stop buying all the picks and shovels and concentrate on what you have or your own country or your .coms or even your .us have more value than you're going to get out of those. It's been, I don't know how many years, probably 6 years, and they're not widely accepted. You can go down the street and your average user will not know anything about them, but it's done good for the people selling picks and shovels. They have gotten rich, while domainers, there's never more drops in them than there are now. So again, don't be foolish buying picks and shovels that you're not going to be able to use.
So we can say that Mr. Schwartz was right.
Mr. Schwartz was 100% right. There's no question, as he usually is. He's always outspoken and has some very good opinions. And if people would have listened to Rick Schwartz on that, they would have saved a lot of money. But people like to live and learn and make their own mistakes and hope that they get that lottery ticket in one of those. And some will. But generally, it's the renewals and it's all of the sales are doing it. The public just knows about com and they barely even know what net is, generally.
Or info.
Or org. Unless it's advertised, they're not going to know what any of these are. So
absolutely. And the only objection was, the most objection actually came from the owners of GTLDs, from that side of the camp.
Yeah, well, that's always going to happen because they have to sell the picks and shovels. And I have nothing against them for going out and running a business and trying to make money and go public or whatever they do and build their business. It's good, smart business sense. But again, it has to be accepted by the people for it to be and advertised for it to become popular. And some of them are cool. There's no question about it. But you still have to advertise and brand them.
Okay, and then the very last question for today, and we've been 1 hour and 50 minutes live. Time flies really fast.
So what do I think of .companies? I think they're good. I think they're decent. I think that you still have to add some branding, and I think if you use a generic word in front of it, it makes much more sense. Like if I want to be known as phone company or whatever I can be that's generic. Is good. Laptop company, or I'm just looking at my screen. I mean, there's anything, even toilet paper company. It could be anything. Lamp company. If you want to brand yourself with something or a product that you can do easily, it's good. But if you're going to put three or words in front of company, it's probably not going to be very viable. Even if you put like, I don't know, corporate attorney company. I mean, some of them just will not make sense. You have to register the ones that you think make sense, and you think it goes back to the same rule. You have to be able to find a company that will be willing to buy it. You have to be able to build a business on it yourself and sustain it. Or with something like this, you have to just sit and wait and pray that somebody comes to you to buy tuna.company. And when there's so many other choices out there for them, I'm not sure that it's going to go extremely well. But I think if you use definitely one words you can. And I see you say you've got offers of 5 figures. I'm sure if they're one word companies, you probably will. And yeah, perfect. Holding, private, car, and those make sense. Holding company makes sense. Private company makes sense. Car company, phone company. Just like I said, those make sense. But having something long on it won't make sense. And that's why I said it's a good example of a good TLD that will work if you get the right domain names. So I'm glad it's working for you, and I hope it continues that way. And you registered the smart ones, and probably you left a lot of the dumb ones for the other people that are out there. But you registered the smart ones. If you register the smart ones, you will get offers. And I hope you're not only getting and fielding offers, but I hope you're taking at least one of those offers to cover everything you've put into it and get some profit out of it. Because it's like a house. You can have a house with no mortgage on it, and you're technically house rich, but you may not have as much money in the bank to buy all the toys and things you want. It's the same thing with domains. You can be domain rich, but not have any money to go out and live your life. Don't spend it just holding domains forever. Use some of that money to live your life, as my wife constantly reminds me, to sell domains, to have fun and do other things.
Are you saying that is your problem as well?
Well, I've learned not to be sentimentally attached to domains, but I also have prices in my head that I have set for domains, and I won't let it go for less than that because I figure, listen, if it's a 2-letter, whatever it is, 3-letter, 4-letter, or if it's a good name like anxiety.ca or something like that, I mean, I'm not going to just let it go because to get $10,000 or $5,000 for it. I'm going to let it go to my kids and let them enjoy it. Yeah, 50% of single letter names for $9 is great. Also excellent. Also excellent. So I'm guessing those are like A.company, B.company, C.company, stuff like that, based on your username as A to Z company.
I don't know. And who will buy them?
Well, that's the thing. But for $9, he's not taking much of a risk. Now, if he goes out and he spends $1,000 on each one of these, he may be holding them a lot longer. Whereas for $9, he can afford to see if there's any interest in them for a year or two and see what happens. But it's still, he's much better off with his phone company, mobile company, tablet company, the ones that he had that are specifically descriptive, like private company. I mean, those are excellent because you know exactly what you're going to get when you go there. You don't know what you're going to get at A.company yet.
But then there are alternatives. Then there is .global. When it came out, I really liked it. I really, really liked it. .global. It seemed to be so nice and short.
It really depends. Personally, I think I like .company better than .global because it's more specific. .global, .company can be anywhere. .global, again, hopefully it's a business that's more global and has companies or offices in more than one location and things like that. Again, nothing wrong with .global if you register the right words with it.
Okay.
Yep. I know that's good about Google. And for Google, when you're known as G, that's obviously the one who's going to buy it. If I think of any company, G company, it's only going to be Google. And there's other companies like that you will think of. O company for Oprah. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you could think of. You could think of Y company for Yahoo. You could think of anything. There's all kinds of things. C company.
That's a really good thought.
Well, what about C company? Could be a cruise line. It could be anything. Could be, it won't be the cruise line that Rick Schwartz is fighting against right now on the website, but there's all kinds of them. It could be anything. There's lots of them. Y company. Well, why do you want to register a company? Why do you need a business? Why do you need to register a company? And then just do business registrations on Y company. There's all kinds of them. If you think about them, they make sense. P company could be for anybody doing bladder infection tests. I mean, it could be anything. You just have to think about what makes sense.
Well, with X company, well,
come on, tell me he can't sell.
If you want to have a chat with Musk, then just get.
But also, tell me he couldn't. Tell me there's not somebody in China who would like to have T company. Come on, there's lots of them. You just have to be inventive and you have to chase the right people. Sitting there with all these domains isn't going to help sell them for you, but creating a brand identity or a brand strategy for them will.
And then that was the last question, and that's from the viewers. And mine one is, Adam, I know that you are really, really humble here, not advertising anything or what. Could you explain what I have signed up for? And yes, this is an advertisement, unagreed, but still. So on adam.dicker.
So the only thing that I'm doing there is it will be a non-for-profit site. What I'm going to do is I have hundreds and hundreds of videos that I've done over the years, including 3-day courses, 1-day courses, 2-day courses. I'm going to make them available to anybody and everybody who signs up. It's probably going to be $1 only because, or 50 cents, just because I want to verify the identity of the people and make sure they're good people, trusted people, and people that I can help grow give them even a little bit of knowledge to help them. And who knows, maybe I can get you to convince me to let me put my videos that we've done there too. There's going to be a lot of good information for people that actually want to learn about domains.
Always, whenever you can use these videos as you wish. Really, that is a public permission. I'm Eastern European.
Thank you.
But it's very simple.
You're not going to trim this out of that video, are you? I'm just kidding with you.
You get all the copy.
Edited. No, it's just to again pass more information onto people that I have people call me and email me all the time about they watched this video from 2014, 15, 13, and they asked me if they're still applicable. And I went and I watched a bunch of them, and you know what? 95% of them were still applicable. Nothing's really changed. And that's what's surprising. Some of the tools have changed, some of the knowledge has changed, some more domains are taken, but a lot of those videos, there's not much has changed as far as the advice goes, which means if people stay consistent and they watch them, they'll still learn a lot. And I just look at it like I read a book or a magazine or an article. If I pick up one good thing out of anything, it's worthwhile. It's worth my time. So that's it.
Fantastic. And the best way to contact you?
The best way to contact me is, and I like to do this, I haven't been doing it lately, but I like to do it at the end of all my videos, adam.dicker@gmail.com, or call me directly on my cell phone, 416-884-0535. Don't be surprised when I answer, because I will.
Once again, what was the phone number? Can you put it actually in private chat? Let us do it in that, and I will put on the screen. No problem at all. Something to be improved. And with a country code, please.
It's just +1. +1, because it's, I'll put in.
Okay, so plus stands for 00 as well. So
yeah. And again, I really mean it. I don't mind getting calls. I don't want to be kept on the phone for hours, but I don't mind getting questions. You can even text me questions. Text me, email. I'm happy to answer, and there will be no charge for the questions or the answers. I won't have time to review your whole portfolio on a phone call or something like that. I prefer you go through this show if you want to do something like that, but I'm happy to help and give quick advice. People call me all the time and say, is this a good price for this? Should I keep it? Should I sell it? What should I do? I'm happy to give that kind of advice, but don't get mad if I tell you advice that's opposite from what you're thinking.
Well, thank you, Adam, for another one. You are such a fountain of knowledge. Seriously.
Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
See you next Sunday.
Take care. Thank you.